The ultimate must-have for any do-it-yourselfer. Listen, painting jobs can be the biggest nightmare of all time, right? You gotta get the paint, you gotta open it up, you gotta make sure you don't spill it. Then you gotta make sure when you roll it, it's not gonna drip. Then you gotta go over it 3 times because it leaves brush marks. And then you're worried about how do you get in all the cracks and crevices. You gotta get a little brush, you gotta do all that, or you can get a Wagner. A Wagner power painter is amazing. And you know, I was one of those people that never thought it would work. I was like, nah, you know, I've heard those things are a pain. Wagner has made it easy. They never clog, the spray is even. I use half the paint because I'm aerating the paint. I mean, let me ask you this. Have you ever seen a professional painter do a house with a brush? No. The bulk of the house, what do they do the bulk of the house with? They use a power painter. Why? It's faster. It looks better. You get better coverage. You get better application. We're offering you one at a ridiculously good price for Wagner. This power painter in retail is over $200. You can get it today for $139.95 with reduced shipping. In fact, if you try to purchase everything that we give you, because we're giving you the extra long aerator hose, we're giving you all the different nozzles to go along with it. In fact, we have a value, we'll break it up for you. So the sprayer is $175. The additional spray cup with the iSpray nozzle, which Lou will explain how that works, is all extra. It would be $214. Today you get it at $139. You get a 15-foot air hose. You get adjustable airflow. Remember, you can choose to paint vertically or horizontally. You can turn the little dial. That is right here. If you come in close, you'll see all I do is give it a, this is what I love about Wagner. So if I want to angle this to any angle to spray, you know, like sometimes you're going left, right, sometimes you're going up or down, and different items that you're spray painting might want you to tilt it a little bit. You don't have to, you just turn the nozzle. Walls, trim, decks, furniture, doors, cabinets, whatever you need to spray paint, you can do, and it works on any type of paint. All right, whether you're using oil paint, water-based paint, stains, it works on all of it. Today's price, again, is an incredible, incredible discounted price from retail. Item number 729520. I could talk all day, but you gotta watch Lou in action, because when you see how this works, how easy it is, and the coverage that you'll get, you'll be sold on it, and you'll be looking for do-it-yourself projects. Hey, Lou's back.
Hey Guy, I am back, and I've got my Wagner Studio Plus here. I love this because it's 2 separate pieces. I've got my turbine in this side. All I'm carrying here is the paint pot and the handle. 2 speeds on this guy, so I can just turn this to high, medium, and low just like that. You're getting the 3 paint cups with this, which is amazing. 3 different nozzles. Let me show everybody how this works, though. So I've got a 15-foot hose. Put it in the middle of the room. You got a 30-foot reach. I'm going to put it on the low speed. We're going to paint a door. And a door can be a nightmare, Guy, but watch how fast I can do this, okay? Using the old Wagner. Now, I've got the eye-control nozzle on here. This one's going to give you a semi-smooth finish. But look how fast it goes. Now, you know, if you've ever done this, Guy, with a regular paintbrush or a roller or anything like that, this is a nightmare job because there's all these little bevels on a door like this. And you got to usually go back and do a couple of coats, but I'm going to show you right here. I'm going to be done 1 coat. Let me see if I missed anything. Completely done in seconds. Look at that.
Lou, you did a door in about 30 seconds. And I love the fact that your compressor, you don't have to hold the compressor, you don't have to wear it on a backpack. If the compressor just stays on the floor and it just follows you along because you have the extra long hose to go with it.
Long hose.
I want you to look at everything you get, because Lou, even my producer Kyle just said, do I get all that?
Everything.
You get everything here. So here's your extra long hose. Here's your, right here, okay? And it's extra wide, right? A lot of the other hoses are very thin. They don't allow for a lot of air and paint mixing as it comes through. You're also getting the compressor. That just sits on the floor. That's your little power supply, okay? You're getting 1, 2, 3 nozzles, 3 cups to go along with it.
Large, medium,
small. When I bought it, I think I spent $149 on my old Wagner power sprayer. All you got was like this one. You got the one in the middle. That's all you got. Lou, what do these cover? What do these work for?
Well, they're basically large, medium, and small. So you've got the largest one that we call the iSpray. Then you've got the medium-sized ones we call the iControl. That's the semi-smooth for smaller jobs. And then you've got the iDetail, which is that smallest one for crafters, for very detailed work. So we got you covered for any job, any size. Let me show you a really tough one, though, Guy. Something that most people shy away from, wicker, okay? If you got a wicker chair, maybe it's a garage find, you know, it's something you want to upcycle, maybe it's been sitting outside. Watch how fast I can get into every little nook and cranny on this. I'm going to turn my turbine on again. I'm still using the same one that I control, but watch how quickly I can come down here. And you know what's cool about this is if you could see it the way I'm seeing it, it's actually getting inside all the little grooves on the wicker with just one pass. And what's nice is it's going to dry faster because we're aerating it, as you said earlier. We're putting air in here.
Oh
now, the other thing
gosh.
is I'm using less product, and I'm going to call that done. That quickly, look how beautiful that is. I mean, and you know what? We're using less paint. It's going to dry faster. It's easier on you, that's for sure. And there's no stippling. I'm not going back in there with a brush trying to get all those nooks and crannies because it's done. It's done. I'm going to be sitting out here drinking a cocktail later.
Lou,
I mean, it's that easy.
Lou, I have. Let me just tell you before the one. You know the reason I bought my Wagner sprayer first time. I had two. There's a really great artisan down on the beach, and he makes those little those lean back wooden chairs. What do you call the Adirondack chairs? He makes them.
Adirondacks, yeah.
And he customizes them. Now he customizes them, paints them, does all this stuff. I bought two of his just stained. Over time, they were shot. All right, the stain, I mean, we're in Florida. There's salt in the air. And I initially tried to paint one of those with stain and a brush. Lou, one Adirondack chair took me like an hour and a half. There are so many cracks and crevices. And when you're using stain with a brush, what does it do? It drips.
Oh, yeah,
and it
everywhere.
drips, and it goes everywhere. So I did the one chair, and I'm like, there has to be an easier way. And then this is God's honest truth. I might have been with you. I can't remember how long ago it was, but I actually aired it on TV. I'm like, I have to try this, because I didn't think you could put stain in. I used stain.
You can.
That same Adirondack second chair that I did, literally took me about 3 minutes to do the entire chair. It took me over an hour with a brush, doing this and doing that. Plus, I had to go over it a couple of times because when you're using a brush, you're not getting even coverage.
Exactly.
With this, you can kick up, like we said, the compressor, you can kick it up if you want to saturate more paint.
It's got 2 speeds on it. Yeah.
So smart, Lou.
Well, and the other thing is you can use any type of paint you want. You can use latex, you can use water-based, you can use stains. I mean, undiluted. I mean, that's the real chalk paint for the crafters. That's what's cool about it. Let me show you some of the customizability of this, though, because you can really dial it into whatever paint flow you need. These are what we call the dog ears on the front. The way they're facing is the direction I'm going to paint. So that would be horizontally, that would be vertically. I can control how wide this paint flow is going to be. So it's a wide spray or very narrow spray just by using this. Back here, how much material am I putting out? That's what that's going to do. And everything is on demand by the trigger on the front here. So when I squeeze the trigger, I get my paint. Now, you were talking about raw wood. Here's a raw fence. This is stain. I want you to see how quickly I can do this, because we all know raw wood sucks up all that paint. Watch this. Look how quickly I can do this. Let me get everything on there. There we go. Look at that. And it's really coming out very quickly, and it's doing a really nice, even job. And what I love about this guy is that on a hot afternoon, when you're decided, okay, it's time to paint the fence, you're not going to be out there all day sweating, because the Wagner's doing it, and it's doing it fast. Look at that.
Lou, you're my hero. Look at you. Hey, you know what, though? Let me tell you something. If your partner says to you, hey, I'd really like you to paint the outdoor furniture, tell me how many times you look for an excuse not to do that. Right? Because it's hard. Painting is hard. That is a reason why most people do not paint their own house, right? Because it's hard, but they save up. And you know, Lou, I know painters. I mean, when I used to paint when I was a kid, my brother and I ran a little painting business. We did it during the summer in between college. And we did one guy's house. It took us 2 months to do it. You know, we did the interior and we did the exterior of this guy's house. He was actually the dean of the college we were going to. So we were like, and he hooked us up. He was a great guy. Anyway, long story short, we actually did the whole thing by hand. We didn't have power sprayers, which is why it took us about 4.5. I think it was about maybe 6 weeks to do the entire home inside and out, because we were doing it all with rollers and brushes. We didn't have the money that we, back then, I don't even know if they had like little portable power sprayers you could buy. If they did, they were probably $400 or $500. Wagner has been doing this for years. They make it affordable for homeowners to be able to do it, but painting is not easy. This type of painting is. Painting with a brush, no. Painting with a roller, no. This is easy because, Lou, I mean, all I'm doing is pulling a trigger. That's it. Right?
That's it. And you're doing a better job than you ever could with a paintbrush or a roller. Yeah, you're just using one finger instead of your entire body, to paint something. Yeah. So it's way easier. Let's do another tough job, okay? We're gonna paint the spindles, a couple spindles we didn't finish here, and we're gonna do the deck. And I'm gonna show you how I can switch from the iControl to the iSpray, the bigger one, to do that, okay? So first we're gonna do the spindles. I'm gonna turn this on, the low turbine. Now, watch the spindles. Watch how quickly I can do this here. I mean, because it just does a spectacular job. I mean, look at that. It's even, it's going to dry faster, and I'm using very little paint. It's amazing how far your paint dollars are going to go now. Boom, done. Okay, so we did that spindle just like that. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch out my nozzles. So all I've got to do, there's a little tab on the bottom here. I rotate the handle, I pull it off. I'm going to pick up the other nozzle, just like this. And all I'm going to do is put that on there, rotate that, and that's going to click into place just like that. Okay, so now we're ready to go on the floor. I'm going to turn my turbine back on, and watch how quickly I can do the deck. Now, I'm using Paint Guy, but this could be, it could be stain, you know, it could be almost anything really that I want to paint this with. But it does an even job, it's a fast job, it's not back-breaking work like this, it's very, very simple to do. And in just a couple of seconds, I'm going to have this whole thing done. And this will be dry later, and you can actually sit out here, have a little cocktail, a little barbecue. I mean, it's easy work.
Yeah, Lou, it doesn't get any easier now. And let me, for all of you out there, I know many of you are on the fence right now, and you're going, I don't know. You know, is it hard to do? Is it hard to clean? It's not.
No.
Regular painting is hard, all right? Regular painting, what do you do with a regular paint? You take a gallon of paint, you usually pour it in a separate bucket, right? You gotta clean that bucket out eventually, right? You're not just gonna throw that bucket away, so you gotta clean that. What about cleaning brushes? That takes forever to clean brushes. Rollers.
I throw them away usually.
Yeah, most people do. Most people just throw them away, which is kind of a waste, and you know, you're filling up landfills and stuff doing that. Utilize this paint system, all right? All you have to do when you're done is take the bottom off and rinse it out. There is no extra work, okay? I mean, it really is. And then the line, you can clean the line out very, very easily. It's not like cleaning brushes. It is so much easier. And holding this in your hand is so much easier. And when you watch the results like Lou was doing, when you go, the first time you use it, you're gonna be like, you might say a bad word, but you'll be like, holy shnikey, this is easy. Right though, Lou? You know.
It's true.
It's addictive. It's very, then you're gonna be like, what else can I paint? Where else can I go with this thing? Right?
You know what? It's funny you say that because that's what I did when I first got mine.
Oh, it's addictive.
I've had Wagner paint sprayers for 10 years. This is the best one I've ever owned. And I've walked out there and looked this up going, you know, I could do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk to the crafters for a second, because like my wife Kelly's a big crafter. I'm painting the big stuff. She's doing her craft projects. If you want to upcycle something like this, you want to make this look better. It's boring. It's white. I actually now just put on what we call the iSpray, not the iSpray, the iDetail, the detail nozzle on here. And the detail nozzle does very fine jobs. Okay, so I'm going to turn on this and watch how fast I can paint this flower pot right here. I mean, it just does a crazy quick job. It makes short work of everything. I mean, it really is amazing. And I'm just rotating this on a Lazy Susan, as you can see. We're going to get this whole thing done, and we're going to call that done.
Man,
that quickly. We finished the whole thing. I mean, look at this.
I looked away for 2 seconds and you finished that quickly. Hey, remember, you get all three of the sprayers. So you get the small job sprayer, the middle sprayer, and you get the large one. This would be the one if you're painting, you know, if you want to do exteriors of your home, if you want to do walls and things like that, it's great. Or if you're doing big walls inside. This is for every day, right? You're going to love this. If you're doing furniture, if you're doing wicker, things like that. If you're a crafter and you want to paint things out, you get 3 different size buckets to hold paint. Remember, we're not just talking about paint. Talking about oil-based, water-based, stains. It works on all that stuff. Listen, I know this is, for a lot of you, this is like, this is a little extra step. Like, oh, I got to buy a paint sprayer. Use it twice a year, it'll pay for itself. Do you know how much it costs to have somebody paint your home?
Yeah.
Remember that college professor, the dean of the college, I tell you we painted his house? We painted his house for 6 weeks. We charged the guy like $6,500. I remember it was over $6,000 because we needed the money for school. So think about that. So Darren and I, my brother, we were making about $500 each a week, right? Because and we were kids. If you hired a professional painter, you could spend thousands and thousands of dollars to do an interior and exterior of your house. You could do all that, plus you could do all the little jobs as well. And you know what? One thing we didn't talk about, Lou, too?
What's that?
It's quiet. That compressor is not that noisy.
It's not, and you know what? I'm actually tacking another tough job here because I saw we had about a minute left.
Yeah, keep
louvered
going.
doors, my friend, louvered doors. You know what it's like to stipple one of these bad boys. It's a nightmare. But in just a couple of seconds, I'm going to finish that entire door. Boom. Just like that. Did you see that? I mean, that's easy, and it is quiet, and it's lightweight. I mean, there's so many great things that this Wagner's got going for it. The control, you know, the control you have over the amount of spray, the amount of material, the fact it's going to dry faster because you're injecting air into it. I mean, everything about this is just a better mousetrap. It really
you know
is a
what?
better